Last time we started the topic gravitation and we learned one point from the gravitation, that is a gravitational constant. Now today we will learn about the Kepler's laws. Kepler's laws. Now before starting the Kepler's laws, first we will see about the circular motion and the centripetal force. So what is meant by circular motion? Whenever any object moves around, means moves in a circular path, then it is called as a circular motion. Example, so many examples are there. Moving fan, then moving hands from our clock. Now these so many examples are there of the circular motion. Suppose we consider here one stone and here is a string. We tie one end of the string to the stone and we move this string in a circular path. See, suppose like this. Then what is happening here? Here this stone moves circular in motion. But here actually the force is not at this side. The force is here. Means I am putting some force here at the center. And because of this force, this object can move in a circular path. So, the motion of this string is a circular, but the force which I put on that object is the centripetal force. Now, what is meant by centripetal force? A force acting on any object. A force acting on any object at the center and to move the object in a circular motion. That force is called as a centripetal force and this force always at the center. Now the next point means our main point today is the Kepler's laws. Now what is the first Kepler's law? According to the Kepler law, the orbit of a planet, all of you know, suppose here is an ellipse shape. This one. Suppose here is the sun. And the planets are moving around the sun in one type of shape called as ellipse. It is not a circular shape. The orbit of a planet is in a ellipse called as a ellipse with the sun at the foci. With the sun. Suppose this one is a sun. And the orbits are revolving around the sun. Whenever any planet comes near the sun, suppose here is this planet comes here, then what will happen? The speed or velocity of this planet will be maximum because sun is near to the planet. But here the velocity of that planet increases whenever the sun is nearest to that planet. And whenever the planet comes here, this planet comes here, the distance will be maximum as compared to this. So the velocity of this planet will be decreases. Means whenever the planet is near to the sun, the velocity is more. And whenever the planet is away from the sun, the velocity is decreased. According to this, Kepler put forth three laws, and first law is the orbit of a planet. This one, the orbit of a planet is an ellipse. This shape is a ellipse. The orbit of a planet is an ellipse with the sun. With the sun at the one foci. At the one foci. Now the second law of Kepler is, all of you know, see, here again I am drawing here ellipse shape. Suppose here is the sun. Orbits are, this one planets are moving around the sun. I am showing the planet with another chalk here. See here. Suppose this is one planet. All of you know the planets are moving in different orbit. And whenever the one planet completes one rotation, that is the one revolution complete by the one planet. Suppose we count the area. Now see here, this one and this one. Suppose this shape and this shape. Now here suppose we draw one line. Here is a planet. Then as compared to this, this area is a minimum. This area is a minimum. But whenever we count the area of this whole area, and if we count this area, it will be equal. From this, Kepler put forth second law is the line joining to the sun. The line joining to the sun with the planet. Here is a sun. See here sun. Here is a planet. Suppose here is a one planet. Then the line joining to the sun and planet. Sun sweeps equal area. This area when we count, suppose here is a B and this is the O. Here P, Q and here is the O. Then area of POQ is equal to area of AOB. AOB. From this, Kepler put forth second law, the line joining to the planet to the sun sweeps equal area in an equal interval of time. In equal area in equal intervals of time. And here first and second law we finish. Now we will start third law. First law we see law of orbit. Second one, law of orbital motion. And third one, law of time period. Law of time period. Now as we see two laws. Now the third law is, according to third law, square of its period of revolution. Whose period of revolution? Suppose here is a ellipse. Here is a sun. And planets are moving around the sun. Then all of you know there are different planets are revolving around the sun. Suppose as we see in 8th standard, here is a sun. Here is a one planet in one orbit. Second planet in second orbit. Third, as here third planet in a third orbit, like this. So different planets are revolving around the sun in different orbits. See the distance of the planet from the sun is different. It is near to the sun. This distance is more. This distance again it is more than the first one. So how we can write the law of time period? Time period. According to the third law of the Kepler, the square of the period of revolution. See how we will write here? The square. Which square? The square of the period of revolution. Period of revolution, whenever the planet moves around the sun, that is one revolution. The square of the period of revolution around the sun is directly proportional to the cube of mean of the distance. Cube of the distance from the planet. How we will write this? See, d3 is directly proportional to t square. Here, t square. T means time period, which is required for the one planet move around the sun, and d means distance.